Just a couple of housekeeping things. As soon as I find my papers. Did I lose some? No, here they are. Okay, it's kind of a standard announcement. Good afternoon. Before we begin today's meeting, please turn off your cell phones and pagers or put them on vibrate. From here on until the meeting is adjourned, please take any necessary calls outside the room, perhaps in the lobby. Those who are requesting a variance, if you haven't already done so, please check in with county staff now to receive any paperwork and sign your affidavit. And in most cases, you've probably already taken care of that. Everything said at this meeting is recorded.
We don't need anybody to check in. We have all the information
Yeah.
we need.
Thank you.
Do you want to say the pledge or?
Just finish this and then. Everything said at this meeting is recorded, so speak clearly into the microphone when you come to the podium. Adjust it so that it's comfortable speaking for you. Each speaker must be sworn in when they first come to the microphone. I'll ask you to state your name and address for the record, swear you in, and then you can begin any speaking or presentation. The last thing is the meeting will start in approximately 5 minutes, but we're going to go ahead right now. So please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please be seated. I now call this meeting of the Brevard County Board of Zoning Adjustment for August 20th, 2025 to order. Our first order of business is the fact that our chairman and vice chairman are not present today, so I need to have a motion and a second and a vote to appoint an ad hoc chairman for this meeting, and I think it's pretty obvious which way we're going with it, so.
I make a motion to put you in place.
Your mic.
I make a motion for you to be our leader today.
Okay,
I'll second that.
okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No. So we have a few housekeeping procedures that we go through at the very beginning. One of those is staff announcements, if we have any.
No, there are no staff announcements.
Okay. The other is the meeting minutes. They were distributed. Does anybody have any changes or corrections from the last meeting?
No.
No.
If not, I need a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
I second.
Okay. Motion is made to approve last meeting's minutes. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. I'm going to go through some procedural stuff. First reading. Where did I find it? Yes. Mr. Bodie, would you please explain the purpose of the Board of Zoning Adjustment?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. The Board of Adjustment is a quasi-judicial body established by the Board of County Commissioners under Chapter 62, Article 2, Division 4 of the Brevard County Code. The Board of Adjustment is empowered to hear requests for variances to the zoning regulation and the sign regulation in Chapter 62, Article 6, and Article 9. Pursuant to Florida Rules of Appellate Procedure, any person or persons jointly or severally aggrieved by any decision of the Board of Adjustment may, within 30 days after the date the order is signed, apply to a court of competent jurisdiction for appropriate relief. Mr. Chairman, you have 8 items on your agenda today.
Thank you, Mr. Bodie. Ms. Clemens, would you read the second reading, which is the definition of an undue hardship?
An undue hardship is a variance. A variance may be granted when it will not be contrary to the public interest and where, owing to special conditions, a literal enforcement of the provisions of this chapter will result in unnecessary and undue hardship. The term undue hardship has specific legal definition in this context and essentially means that without the requested variance, the applicant will have no reasonable use of the subject property under existing development regulations. Personal medical reasons shall not be considered as grounds for establishing undue hardship sufficient to qualify an applicant for a variance. Economic reasons may be considered only in instances where the landowner cannot yield a reasonable use and/or reasonable return under the existing land development regulations. The applicant must answer a variance hardship worksheet with 6 questions. The Board of Adjustments will discuss these questions today with each applicant who has requested a variance.
Thank you, Ms. Clements. I will now address everyone in the room, address our board members, the applicants, and our audience regarding the board's procedures for today's hearings. The Board of Zoning Adjustment, as a quasi-judicial board with volunteer members appointed by the Brevard County Board of Commissioners, will utilize Robert's Rules of Order to conduct its proceedings. The chair is asking all board members not to ask questions while the applicants are making their initial presentations. Once the applicants have completed their initial presentation, we will begin board questioning with the board member who represents the applicant's district. When concluded, questioning is open to the full board. The chair will recognize each board member in turn. Once all board members have completed their questioning, we will then open the floor to the audience, who may be here to speak concerning the applicant's application. Anyone from the audience wishing to speak will be given the opportunity to address the board concisely and once. At the conclusion of the public comment, the applicant will be given additional time for rebuttal, as well as to present their final comments. Once completed, no further comment will be heard from the applicant or the public. The action then moves to this side of the bar for board discussion and action. We will not use a timer for this meeting. Instead, we are asking each speaker to be concise in what they have to say. It is important that you stay on subject and avoid information that is not relevant. We often hear about the spats back and forth with the neighbors. That's not relevant. All persons speaking will provide their name and address for the public record. Those wishing not to verbally state their address may ask the clerk at the podium for an address card. Please fill it out and return to the clerk. Are there any questions from the board regarding these procedures? Are there any questions from the applicants regarding these procedures? Are there any questions from the audience concerning these procedures? Seeing none, I will now move into the real reason that you're here. Mr. Bodie, may we have the first applicant, please?
Yes, variance item H1, Kenny and Evelyn Hernandez request 3 variances of Chapter 62, Article 6, Brevard County Code for a pool screen enclosure, a pool, and an accessory structure in an RU-1-13 zoning classification. Application is 25V00019, located at tax account number 3016857 in District 4. And also, this item was tabled from the June 18, 2025 BOA meeting.
Thank you.
Good afternoon.
Could you state your name and address for the record, please?
Kenny Hernandez. I'm the owner of 5470 Calder Drive in Melbourne.
Okay.
Hi.
Do you swear that the testimony you're going to give us today is the truth?
Yes.
Okay. Please proceed.
Thank you. As per our last meeting, there was, with my plans, there was an issue that I didn't have HOA approval at the time. I submitted it to Kristen, which I don't see her, and I wanted to thank her for being so helpful during this process. Did you receive that? Okay. So I got the approval from the HOA. Also, there was letters of support, which I think you guys got as well. Based on the original plans that I submitted, now we're gonna talk about the side towards the cul-de-sac, which is the fencing. My original plans were to go 28 feet from the house to the rear of the yard. But I understand that the corner right, that's the biggest concern of, as far as this project is concerned. So what I was gonna request is cutting the enclosure from 28 feet deep to 21 feet along the house. And then when I would enclose it horizontally so that would give sufficient space in reference to the corner in question, which I would enclose it to the 32-foot mark, which is the rear part of where the enclosure is going to be. With that said, I would be requesting a variance. It would be approximately 7 feet. From the 25, it would be like an 18-foot setback and a 7-foot variance, give and take an inch or two, maybe less or more. And I think I'm hopeful that bringing the enclosure, the 7 feet to 21 feet deep, and the enclosing of it horizontally would be satisfactory to you all.
We don't have anything that shows that you've redone this on your survey and have to re-advertise it for being differently than what has been advertised. So you'd have to come back and have it redrawn on the survey by your surveyor and show those distances so we could re-advertise it.
Okay.
I was basically, since it's my district, I had reviewed it, and I was going by the action items that we had given you in the end, and it was not to change the drawing, but it was to get the letters of approval from your neighbors and also from the homeowners association.
Which I did.
Now, and as I had said in the last meeting, and I'll repeat again, I visited your property.
Yes.
I've seen it, and the
Yes.
way it is depicted in the current presentation,
Correct.
it does not impede the traffic on the cul-de-sac, nor on the facing street. And I mentioned that in the last meeting. So I did not, and nor was it raised during the meeting by others, did we have a major issue with the variance there. What we wanted was the approvals.
I misunderstood.
So is this the way it's presented, given to us? Is this the way you want to present it with the letters that you have now given us?
Yes.
All right? Then, we will go back. As I said, I had reviewed this. The streets are not impeded, but the minutes of the meeting, and it did say that you did not have a letter of agreement from the homeowners association,
Correct.
which is quite important, and you did not have approval letters from your neighbors,
That is
because
correct.
that is getting closer to their property.
Correct.
The streets were not an issue and did not come up as a question. Therefore, you have provided us letters in this last packet.
Correct.
We now have the letters of approval agreement from your neighbors, 3 neighbors.
Correct.
And we also have the letter of agreement from your homeowners association,
Correct.
which says that there is not an issue with what you are planning, which is in the plan, which is in this packet.
Correct.
All right.
Thank you.
Then I don't have any further questions.
Any other questions, Ms. Close?
I have no questions.
Okay, I have no
Have you,
questions.
Margaret?
Procedurally, I need to ask the audience if you could just step
Sure.
aside. Is there anyone in the audience who wishes to speak in favor or against this application? Come forward, please.
Would you like to
Same-
have a seat, Mr. Hernandez? Yeah, have
Yeah,
a seat
just-
in the front row right there, it'd be fine.
Same procedure. Name and address for the record.
Good afternoon, I'm Warren McKesson. I live at 3431 Dirksley Drive, so I'm a neighbor of Kenny Hernandez. I'm also,
I need to swear you in.
yes, sorry,
Do you swear to tell the truth to us today?
absolutely, yes.
Okay. Are you speaking for or against the application?
I'm speaking for, in
Okay.
support of.
Now you can proceed.
In addition to being a neighbor, I'm also on the board, the HOA board. And I was at the meeting where we discussed it with Kenny and the rest of the board members. And I actually was at the architecture committee meeting as well. And with all of the same provisions that you noted, the HOA architecture committee and board member agreed this was not going to be an issue for anyone, particularly with the support of his immediate neighbors who had adequate opportunity to weigh in, not just at the meeting, but also through mail. They were sent letters, and everyone seemed to go along with that. So from our point of view, this is not an issue for the HOA or any of his neighbors.
Okay. Does anyone have any questions?
No questions.
Okay. Thank you for your interest and
Of course.
public participation.
Thank you.
Mr. Hernandez, you can come back. Oh, no others, right? Okay, yes, I only saw one. Back to the microphone. Okay, anything before it moves to the side of the bar?
No, I mean, I'm confident, that everything will work out.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so
Please have
much.
a seat.
Thank you. Thank you for your time.
Okay. Need a motion to approve or disapprove this application? Ms. Bass, Dr. Bass?
Yes, having met the action items from the June meeting, I make a motion to approve the variance as depicted on the survey provided by the applicant dated 4/24/25.
Okay, do we have a second?
I second.
Okay, we have a motion to approve and a second. Do we have any additional discussion? All right, then, part of my duties are to read the definition of the 6 hardship questions. So, in order to authorize any variance, the Board of Zoning Adjustment must find all of the following factors to exist: that special conditions and circumstances exist which are not applicable to other land, structures, or buildings in the applicable zoning classification; that the special conditions and circumstances do not result from the actions of the applicant; that granting the variance requested will not confer on the applicant any special privilege that is denied by the provisions of this chapter to other lands, buildings, or structures in the identical zoning classification; that literal enforcement of the provisions of this chapter would deprive the applicant of rights commonly enjoyed by other properties in the identical zoning classification under the provisions of this chapter and constitute unnecessary and undue hardship on the applicant; that the variance granted is the minimum variance that will make possible the reasonable use of the land, building, or structure; that granting of the variance will be in harmony with the general intent and purpose of this chapter, and that such use variance will not be injurious to the area involved or otherwise detrimental to the public welfare. With those 6 criteria in mind, I will call the vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion passes and the application for the variance is approved. Mr. Bodie, could we have the second or our next applicant, please?
Yes, item H2, Luz Nelly Nogueroles. Request variance, Chapter 62, Article 6, Brevard County Code for lot width and an AU zoning classification. Application is 25V00024. It's located at tax account number 2509830 in District 2.
Okay, would the applicant please come forward?
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. I need you to state your name and address for the record and carefully pronounce your last name, please?
Thank you. My name is Luz Nelly Nogueroles, 1455 Martin Road, Rockledge, Florida, 32955.
Okay. Do you swear that the testimony you're giving us today is the truth?
Yes.
Okay. How can we help you?
Okay, so what our main purpose is to divide the 5-acre lot into 2 pieces. We came before the county commission, I think it was in May, I don't remember exactly. And in that meeting, we were gonna rezone a 1 acre of that lot. And in that meeting, they requested us to have a DBP. I don't know if I said that correctly. What is it? Oh, BDP, sorry, thank you. And in this BDP, I agreed to it because I didn't think that this was gonna affect me in anything else. But then after we agreed to this, it turns out to be that the flag lot can no longer be called a flag lot because it has to have a house attached to it. And there's only one house on the whole entire lot. So this is why we had to come back and do this variance for the lot size. And that's what I'm doing here. And I would ask if you can approve this. I greatly appreciate it, as it really wasn't I didn't realize that I was kind of shooting myself in the foot with that one. But we have no intention of building anything else on the lot, and that's why I agreed to it. There is already a one family house on the lot as it is. That was the part that was rezoned to an RR1. So, there, sorry.
Okay, thank you. Your application arises in District 2, which is represented by Ms. Clemens. So you have the floor for first questioning.
Okay, so I think I missed the May meeting, or whenever it was. This isn't ringing any bells, but what was the original reason for the separate parcels?
Oh, because we want to do agricultural on the 4-acre lot, and we wanted to have it separate from the house, and that's the reason why we had brought this. I'm not sure if it was in May, maybe even earlier.
I think I was in Dubai.
Yeah, it was May 2nd that
Yeah.
it was approved.
It was May 2nd? Oh, okay. So I was right.
I think that was a Board of County Commissioners meeting.
Yes, it
not-
was. It
not
wasn't-
an
it wasn't
adjustment,
this
not our
board.
meeting.
Yes, it was the county commission meeting
Yes,
approving the BDP.
correct.
And you have no intentions of building an additional
No,
parcel?
nothing at all. I mean, what we want to do is agriculture on it. Right now, we've pretty much painted and fixed everything. The lot is beautiful. We maintain it constantly. We're trying to get some animals in there and stuff like that, and it's for agricultural purposes. And we
What
have
is it
no
that you
intention-
painted?
We painted the stable. It was in rundown condition, so we fixed it. We did the roof. We fixed the barn. The barn was replaced the roof. We painted it, and we continue to upgrade the property for that purpose.
Okay. I don't have any additional questions.
Dr. Bass, do you have any questions?
No, it's clear that this is property enhancement. I don't have any further questions for you.
Thank you, Dr. Pat.
Okay. I need to go through the procedure
Sure.
of asking.
Do you
for-
want me to sit down?
Just step aside for a moment. Is there anyone here who wishes to speak in favor or against this application? Seeing none, short trip, back to the microphone. Any last statements, anything?
No, that's it. Unless
Okay.
you have any questions, I'm more than welcome to answer.
I think it's very clear.
Thank you.
Thank you. You can have a seat.
Thank you.
Okay, Ms. Clemens, that rises in your district.
Yep. I make a motion to approve the variance as it's depicted on the survey provided by the applicant, signed and dated 6/14/2023.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion to approve and a second. Is there any other discussion by the board? Hearing none, we will move on then to the reading of the 6 criteria. So in order to authorize any variance, the Board of Zoning Adjustment must find all of the following factors to exist: that special conditions and circumstances exist which are not applicable to other lands, structures, or buildings in the applicable zoning classification, that the special conditions and circumstances do not result from the actions of the applicant, that granting the variance requested will not confer on the applicant any special privilege that is denied by the provisions of this chapter to other lands, buildings, or structures in the identical zoning classification. That literal enforcement of the provisions of this chapter would deprive the applicant of rights commonly enjoyed by other properties in the identical zoning classification under the provisions of this chapter and constitute unnecessary and undue hardship on the applicant. That the variance granted is the minimum variance that will make possible the reasonable use of land, building, or structure. That the granting of the variance will be in harmony with the general intent and purpose of this chapter, and that such use variance will not be injurious to the area involved or otherwise detrimental to the public welfare. With those criteria in mind, I will call the vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion passes and the application is approved. Okay. Mr. Bodie, can we have the next applicant, please?
Yes, item H3, Star Rush LLC, request variance to Chapter 62, Article 9, Brevard County Code for a wall sign in a PUD zoning classification. Application is 25V00029, located at tax account number 3018275 in District 4.
Thank you.
Good afternoon.
State name and address for the record, please.
My name is Angela Kopnicky. My address is 1680 Promenade Circle, Port Orange, Florida.
Okay.
A long way from home.
Do you swear that the testimony you're giving us today is the truth?
Yes.
Okay.
All right. I am here speaking on behalf of Whole Foods that's going in off of Vieira Boulevard. Whole Foods is seeking an increase of square footage for their signs from 216 square feet to 536 square feet. They feel like if this is granted, it would enhance the lighting on the properties, which would ensure customer safety and a safer environment for customers, and which would allow more visibility from Vieira Boulevard. So since they don't sit directly off the boulevard, they sit back, this will allow them more visibility.
Okay.
I don't know if you guys have copies of this? Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Perfect.
I wasn't expecting to be sitting here today, so I didn't print out copies of that, but it's okay.
You want it?
No, do you need?
No, I have
You have it, okay.
Okay.
Your application arises in District 4, which was represented by Dr. Bass. So you have the floor for questioning.
Whole Foods is at the crossings at Vieira, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And that is bound on the west by I-95, just to get a sense of where we are here in this shopping complex.
Yes, ma'am.
Bounded by, on the west by I-95 and on the east by Murrell Road. And the one intersecting road is Star Rush Drive.
Yes, ma'am.
Which runs in the center. And around this, on all four corners, are businesses.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And the developer is SJC Ventures. And they are the retail developer of this property, of which you are renting, leasing the space to build your building.
Yes, ma'am, that's correct.
Is this request for a monument sign or a building sign?
Just the wall signs, no monument signs. We're just going to be on the tenant panel, so I have that also in the
The
drawer.
picture is of the building, and it looks like it's going to be the building sign.
Yes,
It
no,
is.
no monuments, just the building.
All right. Now, has this same request been presented to the Vieira Company's Plan Review Committee, who manages the change requests for SJC Ventures?
I've been in contact with a lot of people from Brevard County, so I'm going to say I don't know at the moment. I just know I was in contact with George Ritchie, and he and I have had correspondence about me coming up today and asking for the variance.
Who is George Ritchie?
He works for Brevard County in the permitting department.
All right, so you have not discussed this at all with SJC Ventures and their change management board at Vieira? It's
No.
their property.
I'm speaking on behalf of Kendall Signs representing Whole Foods. So my correspondence has been with George Ritchie and the actual sign company that hired us to come in and do the sign variance for.
Well,
Whole Foods.
Vieira does have the approval rights on the sign, especially on the building signs.
Okay.
So I'm questioning how it can be approved by one half and not by
The other half,
the other half.
I can't answer that question, ma'am. I do apologize.
Ms. Bass, this property is now owned by Star Rush LLC,
Yes.
and they have a authorization to act from the LLC for this application from the owner of the LLC, Star Rush.
But the Vieira, the people that approve changes to this particular property is through the Vieira Plan Review Committee. And so I'm asking, has that been reviewed by them also?
They would only be reviewing something if it was changing the amount of square footage of the property being used for the commercial use. They wouldn't be reviewing the signs.
I did talk to some people at Vieira, and that was not the impression I got. But having said that, let's go on then. On the questions that you have, number one, the specific conditions and circumstances that exist here. And your answer is that Whole Foods is a larger scale than many other businesses in the vicinity. How much larger is this store than the one across Vieira Boulevard, Winn-Dixie?
I don't have that information. I do apologize. I don't have that. I don't have the square footage of the entire, I just have the building frontage and the side. That's it. That's all I have. So the building frontage is 216 feet. I don't know what Winn-Dixie is.
All right. The answer to question number one is the signing limitations do not accommodate the operational needs of a grocery store of this magnitude. So I'm just asking, by comparison to a grocery store which is in the same complex, what the difference is, and you don't have the answer.
I don't have the answer to that. I live in Port Orange, so I am a Volusia County resident, so sorry.
All right. In question number two, special conditions and circumstances of the applicant, you say that the increase in not you, it was stated, the increase in signage is driven by the customer's needs to easily locate our store. Actually, to be perfectly honest, I drive this road, and coming here today for this meeting, I actually got caught by the red light on the crossroad, and I could easily read the paper sign, which is hanging on the front of the building, which is announcing Whole Foods is coming soon. So that sign is smaller than the one that's going to actually go in the storefront, which is the same size as the Home Depot, which is next to it.
Yes, ma'am.
So I question why it's going to take a sign 100% larger to see it when I can easily read a paper sign that's hung on the building.
Absolutely.
The granting of the variance requested will not confer on the applicant any special privileges. It says that the answer is the variance will not only benefit Whole Foods, but will contribute to the safe environment of the customer. Would you please explain how a large, 100% larger sign is going to enhance the safety of the customers?
Well, they're thinking like at night when the lights are on, if the parking lots don't provide great lighting, then it'll help the customers. So that's what I was told. So
the parking signs and the parking lights are great. Goodwill is there, Long Doggers, Winn-Dixie, there's plenty of light there. I hardly think that making the sign 100% larger is going to enhance the safety of people.
I understand.
The literal, number 4, the literal enforcement of the provisions of this chapter would deprive the applicant of rights commonly enjoyed by others. If this request is granted, your sign will be over 100% larger than the existing sign of the 2 businesses which are part of the Whole Foods building, not part of the business, part of the building. Jeremiah's Yogurt and Hand and Stone Soap. And those 2 signs on the front of the building are approximately 5 to 6 feet tall. So I would think that you're 100% larger than the Home Depot sign by comparison. Next to Jeremiah Yogurt and Spa, I think it would be hard to find their businesses, not yours. Which also brings me back to why I was asking about if the association that approves the signage for Viera had approved this or knew that your company that you are representing was asking for this large of a sign.
Yeah,
The last
just-
one that,
Sorry, on that particular, I'm sorry to
yes,
interrupt.
no, go ahead.
This is advertised publicly, right? Everyone has access to the applications, advertisement,
It's been advertised publicly.
so.
All right. I'm just wondering if it was, if they were notified, okay, particularly. And the last question, that granting the variance will be in harmony with the general intent and purpose, will not be injurious to the area involved. And the response is the variance will facilitate our ability to serve the community better. A 100% larger increase in the sign is going to serve the community better. Perhaps that is going to overwhelm the signs around it, particularly the Jeremiah yogurt sign. Question?
You asking me that as a question?
You-
I think Whole Foods serves a better purpose than Jeremiah's, but I mean, I'm here to represent them, not Jeremiah, so yes, ma'am. My answer will be yes.
Any other questions? I'm done.
I have a couple questions. I just want to make sure I understand, because you have the 3 different depictions of the signage. So the main picture, this one you have here, is all 3 of those signs is what equates to the 500 square feet?
Yes, ma'am.
So, and in the standard practice, you guys do all 3 of those signs on all of your buildings?
Yes, ma'am.
They're just at a smaller scale. You're just asking
Yes,
likely
I mean,
because
if-
it's,
If we could reduce the size, I guess we can do that as well, but they wanted to go for that, so.
and I'm sure it's because of the north-facing traffic from 95, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And there's nothing in between. This entire complex is there's no sublets from this picture, correct?
Not that I'm aware of.
this is your
Yeah,
entire
That's the entire, yes, ma'am, that's
building.
correct.
And that square footage doesn't include any of the sign B2s that are freestanding?
No, ma'am.
And those are within compliance? Or there's no variance requests for those?
There's
Or
no
future variance requests?
No, ma'am.
And then, are all 3 of the lights lit?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right, that's all of my questions.
Thank you.
I just have a point of question, possibly, Mr. Bodie. This, and I didn't, again, I wasn't expecting to be sitting here, so I didn't print out all the stuff. Is this increase for the sum of the signs or the increase for each sign?
No, it's for the, all the signs over what is
The
permitted.
sum of the square footage of
Yes.
the signs?
Yes,
All three of those, that's what you're allowed.
But the total signage is what the,
The
would-
500 square feet is all three of those, that's what it
and then they're
says.
asking for more.
No, no, no.
Oh.
They're asking, this is what they're allowed for
Two.
these three signs?
yeah, they're permitted 216.83 square feet, and
Right.
they're asking
For
for
500.
an extra
But it's all
to go
three
up
of them.
to
Okay.
536.
And it looks like it's all on the face of,
Single building.
which way does do these signs face?
So,
There's three on the north, and then there's one sign on the west side of the building, but we're not,
The west side faces I-95.
yes.
That's where you're trying to pick up some visibility there. The other two face Vieira Boulevard.
Yes.
Okay. Are there any businesses between Whole Foods and Vieira?
Boulevard?
You talk, in front,
Yeah.
I think there's a Miller's Ale House.
So you are set back behind
Yeah,
those?
yeah, we're set back.
Okay, okay.
There is one building, and that is Miller's Ale House, which is on the corner of Vieira Boulevard and Star Rush Drive, which is right on the very
Right.
corner there. It's a smaller building.
Okay. No, I was just trying to picture in my mind where it was.
The
Oh.
rest of it along Vieira is parking.
Right. Okay.
All right.
Any other questions from the board? Okay, I have to go through the
Yeah, no
procedure of
worries.
asking for. Is there anyone in the audience who wishes to speak in favor or against this application? Seeing none, please return.
Thank you.
And last comments.
I don't have any. Thank you so much.
All
Thank you for
right,
your time.
thank you.
All right, thank you.
All right. Dr. Bass, this application arises in your district. Would you like to make a motion?
I make a motion to deny the approval of the sign size increase as provided by the applicant.
You have to give a short
Good.
reason.
Because it is contrary to the public interest.
Okay. Second?
I'm impartial.
I'm not forcing you to
I know.
second.
I second.
Okay. We have a motion to deny and a second. Any further discussion here amongst our board members?
No.
Having not reviewed it in depth, but getting some sort of understanding of where the building is, I tend not to object to this, but that would be for a vote of the board.
I feel like there's a compromise. I don't think it needs to be 100%, but I feel like there's a compromise. So maybe if they want to come back with a little bit different, I think I'd be open to that.
Can you make sure you speak into the,
Yeah.
I feel like there's a compromise. I don't think it needs to go all the way to the 500 square feet. I'm fine for it to be larger, I understand, but I feel like it's a pretty extreme request. That's all.
Okay. That's the extent of our discussion, so we have a motion to disapprove. We have board discussion. I'll read the 6 hardship questions, and then we'll take a vote. In order to authorize any variance, the Board of Zoning Adjustment must find all of the following factors to exist: that special conditions and circumstances exist which are not applicable to other land, structures, or buildings in the applicable zoning classification, that the special conditions and circumstances do not result from the actions of the applicant, that granting the variance requested will not confer on the applicant any special privilege that is denied by the provisions of this chapter to other lands, buildings, or structures in the identical zoning classification, that literal enforcement of the provisions of this chapter would deprive the applicant of rights commonly enjoyed by other properties in the identical zoning classification under the provisions of this chapter, and constitute unnecessary and undue hardship on the applicant, that the variance granted is the minimum variance that would make possible the reasonable use of land, building, or structure, that the granting of the variance will be in harmony with the general intent and purpose of this chapter, and that such use variance will not be injurious to the area involved or otherwise detrimental to the public welfare. We're going to call the vote by member. So, Dr. Bass, for the motion to disapprove the application?
Yes.
Okay, that is a vote to disapprove.
Yes.
Ms. Clemens?
Yes, motion to disapprove.
Okay. Then I will vote against the motion to disapprove. However, the motion does, it passes in denying the application by a vote of 2-1. So the applicant is welcome to come back with next steps. Okay. Mr. Bodie, can we have our next applicant, please?
Yes, item H4, Jason and Leah Reilly request variance of Chapter 62, Article 6, Brevard County Code for a shed in an RU-2-10 zoning classification. Variance application is 25V00034, located at tax account number 2735992 in District 5.
Okay. Could you state your name and address for the record, please?
Hi, my name is Leah Reilly, and my address is 1760 Williamsburg Way in Melbourne, 32934.
Okay. Do you swear the testimony you're giving us today is the truth?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Your application arises in my district, District 5, and yours is one of the ones that I actually printed out, and actually, I didn't visit you, but I drove by and saw the situation. I noticed that that the board vacated I guess there was an
The
alleyway or something between you and the
So there
neighbors?
is an easement between my property and my neighbor's property because of a drain pipe that goes through from the street to the retention pond in the back. So the easement was approved by the county on the 20th of May. They came through thoroughly to ensure there was no record of exactly where that pipe was. There's a cement pipe. So the county came out and measured exactly where it was, and it showed that the pipe was much further onto my neighbor's side of the 15-foot easement between the two of us. So with that being said, they felt and reviewed that there was enough room for them to do any repairs that were necessary, and then our HOA also approved that because in reality, they're responsible for repairing it as far as the survey and the land works on that area. So all of that was approved. I thought I was on my way to get everything that I needed and called right down into zoning. And the struggle with this is that we hired, we had hired a professional contractor and went through the professional surveying part of this. And somewhere along the line, I'm not sure where it is, but there are literally inches that have been misguided on a certain corner of the building. So the easement was approved. There's no, the only thing that's there is the pipe. There's no utilities, nothing like that. We had the approval from the adjacent neighbor. Spoke to all my neighbors, and basically it's the shed that's already been constructed. It went through several rounds of inspection and all of this, and then when we went to the final inspection, there was a notation of this discrepancy. And I'm not sure where this came up. Originally, when we bought the property, there was an old structure, an old shed that we quickly realized had black mold in it. So we had it removed from the property, and it was in the same spot. And at the time, it was built with the fence kind of into the fence. We then removed that fence and had a fence built just about a foot towards our property. So it wasn't built right on the line because there's a bunch of trees there that we wanted to preserve. So I don't know in the surveying or somewhere where there was a couple inches that may have in one corner there had been a discrepancy between the professionals measuring. But in constructing this building, I feel like we went through every kind of check mark to make sure we were doing the right thing. So as it was built, it wasn't built in fact, we were trying to make sure it was far enough back so that we didn't have to go through any of this. So now we've been going through about 2 years of trying to get all these steps, and we'd like to close out the building so we can use it. But we haven't done anything further. So it has a concrete slab. So the hardship would be to actually remove this whole thing to have it rebuilt. And so that's why we're here today, to pray that you will, because it's not affecting any other area. And I believe in the percentage, it's like it just skates by, it just goes over what the variance allotment is.
Forgive my old eyes, I can't read all these small maps and stuff. How much over are you?
I think in one, it's not clear to me exactly where the issue was with the variance, because I was so looking at the easement part. The easement, I believe they gave us like 11 inches in one area. And it met all the other criteria for the distance. In fact, I had the surveyor come back to make sure that the building was in the correct position away from our pool structure too. So all of that was remeasured, and that's shown on the current survey that you have to show that. But it is within inches in one corner.
So we're talking this much,
Yes,
in the neighborhood,
yes,
the corner of your building.
yes.
They vacated 2.5 feet to go just around the outside of the shed is what it is. And also, you're wondering about how it was brought up. When I did the staff comments for the vacate, I said that zoning didn't have any objection to vacating it, but however, the variance to the northerly 7.5 feet side setback would need to be applied for and approved by the Board of Adjustment for the accessory structure frame shed to comply with the zoning setback requirements. So when I did the staff comments for the easement vacate, that's when it came up probably to the specialist from the vacating in Amber, and she made it noted.
But we're talking about a discrepancy I can measure with my hand. Inches, half a foot.
It looks like it's just about, from looking at the survey, 2.5 feet into
Okay.
that 7.5 foot. So that's the reason we're here right
Okay.
now.
So that's more
Looking at
significant.
5 feet
2.5.
setback to it,
That's what the survey says.
per the survey.
Yeah, I can't, my eyes aren't that good. Okay. But they do have enough room to maintain that drainage pipe?
Yes, yes.
They can get in there?
Yes.
You don't
yes.
know how big it is?
It's 15 feet, but the majority of
No, the diameter of the pipe.
Oh, I don't know the diameter of the pipe, but when they came through, they went through every section of it to figure out where exactly it was. And it's several feet onto my neighbor's,
The rear neighbor?
Yeah, and my argument with that, well, why I felt that from the very beginning before they went through that is I have a massive maple tree on my property that was definitely there before this pipe was there. And so that to me shows that it's a significant amount, more over like 7 or 8 feet on the other side. Like it's mostly on his property, not mine. And so the other thing is we're not putting any utilities or anything. They're not building anything on that side whatsoever. And that's why the easement was approved.
Does the pipe, what we call daylight, can you see the end of the pipe if you go over to your neighbor's property?
I can see it on my neighbor's property, yes.
So is it as big as my head? Is it as wide as my shoulders?
I think it's probably about this
All
big.
right,
where
so
it
12
comes,
to 18 inch.
Yeah, yeah.
And you can see it
Come
close to
out.
the top of the ground.
I can see it close to the top when it comes out where our water is in the back. Yes, yeah.
Would you say it's that much below the level of the ground?
Yeah,
Here's what I'm coming to. If it's a small pipe and it's not very, very, very deep, it's not that hard to access it, even if your shed
Yeah.
is a little closer to
yeah.
it. So it sounds to me like it is, and
Yeah.
that's fine.
Yeah,
I'm-
I watched them with sticks. I mean, they were just sticks with it. So it wasn't like they were taking a backhoe to find the pipe. It was.
It was right there.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. You mentioned that you talked to your neighbors.
Yes.
Has anybody emailed you, given you anything in writing, saying, we don't care, we're fine?
On the easement application, my adjacent neighbor signed the document that was submitted. All of that's been
somebody
done. And
said-
the HOA on record also sent in with the easement package.
Very
So-
good,
so,
very good.
Okay.
Okay. That's all the questions I have. Does anyone else have questions?
No.
No questions.
Okay. Have to go through the procedure of asking you to step aside. Is there anyone in the room, I know you're tired of this, that wishes to speak in favor or against this application? Seeing none, please return. You have a chance to say any final words, comments?
No, I just would appreciate an approval. It's been a long process and a lot of lessons learned, but all good lessons, so,
We all learn.
yes.
Okay, thank you. All right, as it arises in my district, but as chair, I'm not allowed to make a motion, so would someone make a motion as they please?
I make a motion to approve the variance as requested. Sorry.
Number 4. Yeah, I can't read it either.
Sorry. As depicted on the survey provided by the applicant, signed on 3/10, signed with the signed date of 3/10/2025.
Okay, do we have a second?
I second it.
Okay, we have a motion to approve and a second. Do we have any board discussion?
No discussion.
Okay. With that, I move into my reading of the criteria. In order to authorize any variance, the Board of Zoning Adjustment must find all of the following factors to exist. The special conditions and circumstances exist which are not applicable to other lands, structures, or buildings in the applicable zoning classification, that the special conditions and circumstances do not result from the actions of the applicant, that granting the variance requested will not confer on the applicant any special privilege, that is denied by the provisions of this chapter to other lands, buildings, or structures in the identical zoning classification, that literal enforcement of the provisions of this chapter would deprive the applicant of rights commonly enjoyed by other properties in the identical zoning classification under the provisions of this chapter and constitute unnecessary and undue hardship on the applicant, that the variance granted is the minimum variance that will make possible the reasonable use of land, building, or structure, that the granting of the variance will be in harmony with the general intent and purpose of this chapter, and that such use variance will not be injurious to the area involved or otherwise detrimental to the public welfare. With those criteria in mind, I will call the vote. All in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? The motion passes and the application is approved. Okay. Mr. Bodie, may we have the next applicant, excuse me. Does anyone need a couple minutes of recess or anything? Board,
Okay.
audience?
Let's go.
No, good. Okay, Mr. Bodie, may we have the next applicant, please?
Yes, item H5, Brian J. Lewis and Christina Obermayer-Lewis request variance Chapter 62, Article 6, Brevard County Code for an accessory structure in an AU zoning classification. Variance application is 25V00035, located at tax count number 2314111 in District 1.
Okay. Could you state your name and address for the record, please?
Brian J. Lewis, 5120 Pine Street, Cocoa, Florida, 32927, Canaveral Groves.
Okay. Do you swear that the testimony you're giving us today is the truth?
Yes.
I think some shorter people than you pushed that microphone down. You can pick it up to where you can
Gotcha.
get at it. Please
Just
proceed.
requesting a variant because there was a carport put there. We bought the property to move down here because I'm a vet that's need the heat from my back. So we moved down here, bought it in February 23. The carport had been there, was built there. We asked when we bought the property, everything's good. Yep, we didn't know there was a law against carports being in front of the house. It's 15 feet off of the property side from the neighbor side. There's oak trees on both, around it, so everything else, it's a hard structure, it's hurricane proofed, it's built into the concrete, to the driveway itself, linking up to our house. And this came up because we're doing renovations on the house and everything else went through, and now we have a problem with the carport sitting there. So, then no.
Okay. Your application arises in District 1. Our District 1 representative is not with us today. And normally the chair would take over. However, I'm not prepared for this because I don't have a printout of your application. So I'm going to defer to one of my colleagues here and ask maybe Ms.
Sure.
Clemens, could you start the questioning?
You're not looking to do anything different with the particular structure, you're just looking
Yeah, we
to
just-
legitimize the carport.
Yeah, we just bought it that way, and I'd like for it to just stay there, because I don't want to go up there and detach it all, and
Yeah. for
it's
sure.
kind of crazy and stupid, but
And it's in good condition, it's not dilapidated or,
no,
Okay. Okay.
we got a beautiful home and pool and everything's done, and I had no idea that we did something incorrect.
what made you figure this out?
What made us figure this out? We're adding on to the house, and when it came up with my construction guys, they said, hey, you need a variant for that carport. Otherwise, we're gonna have to take it all apart, put it out in the front yard, and get a variant, and then put it back when it's done. I'm like, well, that doesn't make common sense, and I've been doing military my whole life. And I've seen some really weird stuff before, but that one doesn't make some sense at all. So we just said, okay, we have to come down and we have to fill this out, and we put on there that several other neighbors in the Canaveral Groves, Canaveral Acres to you guys, that almost everybody has a carport on the front yard. We live in the sticks. We're country people. I guess that's how they did them. So, but so we just said, okay, we have to abide by regulations, and that's how we submitted this.
Okay.
So that's all we're asking. It's there existing. I just wanted to leave it there.
Any other questions?
Do you say this was there when you bought the property recently?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
We bought it in February 23, and it was already on the property built. We actually said, oh, that's nice, there's a carport there. So that was part of our thing with the realtor and when we bought it, so.
Okay.
mhm.
I think you asked the questions that I wanted to ask, but I will comment that in Florida or in this area, things do change over time. This is not an unusual circumstance, so I don't have any questions indeed for you.
Yep.
No other
Anything further?
questions?
No.
I have to procedurally ask
All
the
right.
audience, don't go far. Is there anyone in the audience who wishes to speak in favor or against this application? Seeing none, any final closing
All my
comments?
neighbors are cool. We go on cruises together, so you're not gonna hear us from them guys. So,
All right, thank you.
all right.
Make a motion?
Yeah. Can we have a motion, please?
I make a motion to approve the variance as depicted on the survey provided by the applicant with a date of 1/9/2025.
I'll second that.
Okay, so we have a motion to approve, second. Any other discussion? Okay.
No other discussion.
Moving things right along. In order to authorize any variance, the Board of Zoning Adjustment must find all of the following factors to exist. The special conditions and circumstances exist which are not applicable to other lands, structures, or buildings in the applicable zoning classification. That the special conditions and circumstances do not result from the actions of the applicant. That granting the variance requested will not confer on the applicant any special privilege that is denied by the provisions of this chapter to other lands, buildings, or structures in the identical zoning classification. The literal enforcement of the provisions of this chapter would deprive the applicant of rights commonly enjoyed by other properties in the identical zoning classification under the provisions of this chapter and constitute unnecessary and undue hardship on the applicant. That the variance granted is the minimum variance that will make possible the reasonable use of the land, building, or structure. That the granting of the variance will be in harmony with the general intent and purpose of this chapter, and that such use variance will not be injurious to the area involved or otherwise detrimental to the public welfare. With those criteria in mind, I will call a vote. All in favor of approving the application, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion passes and the application is approved. Mr. Bodie, could we have the next applicant, please?
Yes, item H6, William S. Simmons requests variance of Chapter 62, Article 6, Brevard County Code for a dock in an RU-1-9 zoning classification. Application is 25V00036, located at tax account number 2408868 in District 1.
Okay. Could you state your name and address for the record, please?
Yes, William Simmons, and I live at 6505 June Drive in Cocoa.
Okay. Are you going to speak today?
No, I wouldn't him. I'm the builder. So
She's the builder of the boat
Do you-
dock
you-
in question.
either or, I don't mind. I can sit in here just in
No,
case.
no,
if
I don't mind you standing there. It's just if you're going to speak, I need your name and address for the record and the swearing in.
Just in case.
Hi, my name is Evelyn Hernandez, and I'm sorry that I have told the truth.
Could you both please raise your right hands?
Sure.
Do you swear that the testimony you're giving us today is the truth?
100%.
Yes.
Okay. Please proceed.
Okay, so I had this dock built. I was here last December for other variances for the property, so got approved. Builder came in, excellent job. Everything's moving along. The base is in, the poles are up, the deck is on, the roof is not. I'm like, what's going on? She says,
You
we have
need
to.
to speak up a
We have
little more
to,
volume.
she says, we have to wait for the approval of the county to inspect the footprint. Makes no sense if the footprint's bad. Why put a roof on? You gotta tear it down. I'm like, okay, cool. The Brevard County inspector comes out. I happen to be home that day. He's walking around and looks, everything's good. I asked him, I said, any problems? He said, nope, looks good. He leaves. A week or so goes by, the roof people come out, they put the roof on. Now we're waiting final inspection. Jaylene calls me, she says, Brevard County's saying, no, it's bad, no good. Wait a minute, the guy just looked at it. It's bad. They don't know why. There's some kind of miscommunication. I'm not the smartest guy in the world, I'm not a surveyor, but I work with some people at the Space Center that are. One of them is a friend of mine. I had him come out and I said, look at this thing, tell me what's wrong. And he goes, that looks great. What's the problem? He says, where's your document? So he goes to the dock box, he pulls out the document, he's looking at it. He goes, oh yeah, right here. He says, they're never gonna approve it because your surveyor says the dock's over 16 feet. And I'm like, well, why'd the first guy inspect it and he never said nothing's wrong? He said he missed it. I said, what do I do? He said, is that the marker? And I said, yeah. He goes, is that your other property marker? And I said, yeah. He said, go to Walmart, buy some kite string, hot pink, tie it to that one, tie it to that one, run it across your dock, run your tape measure out, see if it's over 16 feet back to that line. It's right on the nose, 16 feet. Took pictures, gave them to her. She submitted them to Brevard County. They're like, we don't care. On this paper, you're 5 inches over. So how do I get out? Pay the money, file for a variance. And this is where we are.
Okay. Your application arises in District, Doc, yes, District 1, and your representative's not here today. So again, I was not expecting to sit in this seat, so I didn't print out in the documents, but Dr. Bass, do you have?
I have it just in case.
Yes, you were sworn in, you can
Yeah.
speak. Oh, no, we have that.
Oh, okay.
It just, I didn't print it out for
Oh, okay,
myself.
okay,
That's
gotcha.
okay. Would you like to start?
Yes, I only have one comment or in the form of a question, and that is, your property is at the terminal point of the waterway there, and there's no house on the, if I'm looking at the picture, there's no other house on the right or the left, so you are not blocking anybody else's
And there's no
dock
through traffic.
by your 5 feet or 5
5
inches,
inches.
by your 5 inches. And that is what comes up as a concern. Other people may say, if there was a house there, are you impeding their view of the waterway?
Right, or other
Well,
boats
that-
going by.
There is nothing there.
Yeah,
So
it's a dead end.
your 5 inches is not going to have any impact on anyone else.
Yes, 0.5 feet, half a foot.
I'm sorry, the 25 feet is not going to.
No, 0.5. You said 5 inches.
I'm sorry,
Oh,
feet
sorry.
is not going to impact any other person living in this area on this particular waterway, this
Right.
little, okay.
No questions. Pretty straightforward.
Just a general question. When they come out and do those inspections, don't they sign off on something in the box, the permit box?
They look at the structure of it, the building inspectors do, make sure that's built per the plans. As far as the plans, we make sure in our code that every single dock has to have an as-built survey. That's to make sure that it's not over the square footage of what's required or the projection or the setbacks. And the problem, I think, with this one was that the plan that was submitted was measured off of the seawall. Whenever we got the as-built survey, the seawall is at an angle compared to what the property line was, which put it out another half a foot.
Thank you. Thank you. Just general comment for the board. We run into this all the time.
Yes.
I don't like the seawall regulations, but anyway. Anything else? I need to do the procedural. Is there anyone in the audience who wishes to speak in favor or against this application? Seeing none, any final words?
No.
Okay, thank you very much.
All right,
Thank you.
thank you.
Okay, next step is to,
I'm making
Ask
a
for a
motion
motion.
to approve the variance as depicted on the survey provided by the applicant with a signed date of 4/20/2025.
I second that.
okay, we have a motion to approve
Yes.
and a second. Any more discussion from the board?
No,
No.
sir.
Only that 6 inches is de minimis, and as you said, it's in the
Yeah.
cul-de-sac of the canal, so. All right, let me read the 6 criteria, and then we will vote. As soon as I find my paper, where did my,
Where'd it go?
yeah. Yeah, thank you. In order to authorize any variance, the Board of Zoning Adjustment must find all of the following factors to exist. The special conditions and circumstances exist which are not applicable to other lands, structures, or buildings in the applicable zoning classification. That the special conditions and circumstances do not result from the actions of the applicant. That granting the variance requested will not confer on the applicant any special privilege that is denied by the provisions of this chapter to other lands, buildings, or structures in the identical zoning classification. That literal enforcement of the provisions of this chapter would deprive the applicant of rights commonly enjoyed by other properties in the identical zoning classification under the provisions of this chapter and constitute unnecessary and undue hardship on the applicant. That the variance granted is the minimum variance that will make possible the reasonable use of land, building, or structure. That the granting of the variance will be in harmony with the general intent and purpose of this chapter, and that such use variance will not be injurious to the area involved or otherwise detrimental to the public welfare. With those criteria in mind, I will call the vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion passes and the application is approved. Mr. Bodie, can we have the next applicant, please?
Yes, Daniel Owen Mitchell requests 2 variances of Chapter 62, Article 6, Brevard County Code for an accessory structure in an RU-1-9 zoning classification. Variance application 25V 00037, located at tax account number 2727811 in District 5.
Okay. Could you state your name and address for the record, please?
Yes, Daniel Mitchell.
Microphone.
Yeah,
Pull it to you.
Daniel Mitchell, 230 Avenida Central, Indialantic.
Okay. We swear you in. Do you swear to tell the truth to us today?
Yes, sir.
Please, actually, go ahead and make a presentation.
Sure. Appreciate you guys taking my application. I am requesting 2 variances today to allow me to place a utility shed on my property. The way my property is laid out with the pre-existing pool, creating a limited yard space that isn't practical location in the current zoning requirements. The shed would give me a secure place to keep my lawn equipment and bikes and gardening tools. And I've made sure to talk to my neighbors and ensure that they're all satisfied with my plans, and just requesting an opportunity to proceed with my plans.
Okay. Your application arises in District 5, which happens to be my district. I did drive by your property and got the general layout. I can see from the survey that you're on Avenida Central, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I got the right survey. I can see it's back in the corner there. Have you got any letters, emails, anything from your neighbors saying they do or do not object?
I don't. I didn't think to do that.
Okay. Take your word for it. Have you talked to them about it?
I have.
Yeah,
Yes,
okay.
sir.
And what's the amount of the variance? I think it's,
3%.
you're asking for
60% deviation, 3 feet.
3 feet from both the side and rear.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
He's looking for a 3-foot setback, so he's looking for a 4.5-foot variance on each
Okay.
side.
And is there a fence around that corner?
Yes. There's
Is
fences on
the-
all sides.
How tall is the fence in comparison to the eaves of the shed?
The
Is the shed
fence-
wall taller than the fence?
It will be a little bit taller.
Okay,
Not much. Maybe 2 feet.
so they'll see mostly the roof line?
Correct.
Okay. All right, that's all I had. Any questions from the other board members?
No.
No questions.
Okay. Does anybody want to speak in favor or against this application? We're thinning out here, so apparently not. Anything else?
No.
Okay, have a seat.
Okay.
All right. This application arises in District 5, which is my district, but I cannot make a motion as the chairman today. So would one of my colleagues like to make a motion?
I make a motion to approve the variance as requested depicted on the survey provided by the applicant, signed 6/9/2025.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion to approve and a second. Is there any board discussion?
No,
Okay. Then,
get that shed.
move this right along. In order to authorize any variance, the Board of Zoning Adjustment must find all of the following factors to exist. The special conditions and circumstances exist which are not applicable to other lands, structures, or buildings in the applicable zoning classification. That the special conditions and circumstances do not result from the actions of the applicant. That granting the variance requested will not confer on the applicant any special privilege that is denied by the provisions of this chapter to other lands, buildings, or structures in the identical zoning classification. That literal enforcement of the provisions of this chapter will deprive the applicant of rights commonly enjoyed by other properties in the identical zoning classification under the provisions of this chapter and constitute unnecessary and undue hardship on the applicant. That the variance granted is the minimum variance that will make possible the reasonable use of land, building, or structure. The granting of the variance will be in harmony with the general intent and purpose of this chapter, which shall, and that such use variance will not be injurious to the area involved or otherwise detrimental to the public welfare. With those criteria in mind, I will call the vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion passes and the application is approved. Mr. Bodie, could we have the next applicant, please?
Yes, item H8, Langford Harrison and Jessica Francis Covington request variance of Chapter 62, Article 6, Brevard County Code for an accessory structure in an RU-1-11 zoning classification. Variance application 25V100038, located at tax count number 2608866 in District 4.
Okay. State your name and address for the record, please.
Langford Covington, 408 Bridgetown Court, Satellite Beach, Florida, 32937.
You're very tall, so I don't know if that's as tall as that'll. Do you swear to tell the truth to us today?
I do.
Okay. Please
Yeah,
present.
so currently the way that my house was built back in, I believe, 1963, it's very far towards the back of the rear property line, kind of preventing us from having any improvements to the property in the back. And we're proposing to put a roof structure within 5 feet of the back of the home in order to kind of give us a little bit of relief from the sun.
I'll look at that.
Sorry. It's not going to be impeding on any of the side setbacks or the rear setbacks. It's literally just to build it within 5 feet of my existing home. Additionally, we'll be going over pre-existing impervious structure, so there'll be no issues as far as increasing, the impervious area to the property.
Your application arises in District 4. Dr. Bass?
I went to the property and did a walk-around evaluation. As stated in the paperwork, the accessory roof structure will provide shade over the existing patio. The design does not extend past the existing patio area. The roof support structure will be set on the existing patio. It does not extend into the yard area. So there's no permutation on any easements that are being affected other than what's already existing. Therefore, there will be no land infringement to the adjoining neighbors. The roof will not impede neighbor views of the waterway in either direction or impede boat traffic on the canalway. I do have a question for the attorney, though, please. On page 79, in the letter from Mr. Bodie's office, the description here says this request represents the applicant's request to construct accessory structure, but in parentheses it says pergola on the rear of the home. This is not a pergola, and that is not what the drawing says. The drawing says that it is a proposed roof pavilion. That's not going to make any difference, is it, when we approve this?
No.
This is just for y'all staff comments. This isn't how it was advertised as a pergola. It was
All
just
right, that's what I
advertised
wanted
as
to
an
find out. I
accessory
didn't want him to call the construction company and then say, well, you're not building a pergola. All right, I have no further questions.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Clowns?
No questions.
Okay.
Ask the people.
Do you wish to speak in favor or against this application? Okay, it's getting late in the day, and we're getting a little punchy. Any last words?
No, just thank you for your consideration.
Okay, thank you. Dr. Bass, this rises in your district.
I make a motion to approve the variance as depicted on the survey provided by the applicant with the signed date of 7/3/2025.
Okay, second?
I second.
All right, We have a motion to approve and a second. Do we have any additional discussion?
No, sir.
All right, with that in mind, in order to authorize any variance, the Board of Zoning Adjustment must find all of the following factors to exist. That special conditions and circumstances exist which are not applicable to other lands, structures, or buildings in the applicable zoning classification. That the special conditions and circumstances do not result from the actions of the applicant. That granting the variance requested will not confer on the applicant a special privilege that is denied by the provisions of this chapter to other lands, buildings, or structures in the identical zoning classification. That literal enforcement of the provisions of this chapter would deprive the applicant of rights commonly enjoyed by other properties in the identical zoning classification under the provisions of this chapter and constitute unnecessary and undue hardship on the applicant. That the variance granted is the minimum variance that will make possible the reasonable use of the land, building, or structure. That the granting of the variance will be in harmony with the general intent and purpose of this chapter, and that such use variance will not be injurious to the area involved or otherwise detrimental to the public welfare. I will now call the vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion passes and the application is approved. Seeing no more business before the board, I declare the meeting of the Brevard County Board of Zoning Adjustment of August 20th, 2025 adjourned.
The opinions expressed by any member of the public during any period of public comment do not necessarily reflect the views or opinions of the Board of County Commissioners of Brevard County, Florida, Space Coast Government Television, or the program sponsor, and are solely those of the presenter. The Board of County Commissioners of Brevard County, Florida, Space Coast Government Television, and the program sponsor hereby expressly disclaim any and all responsibility or liability for any defamatory or slanderous statements expressed by any member of the public during any such period.